Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. All right, we're ready to start. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Georgina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar for Saturday, September the 24th, 2022. This calendar is for cases in which individuals have been recently arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. So we're going to address several matters, if they are appropriate, include bond, possible arraignment, possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I think that the reset date is October the 6th. That's been put in the chat. That would be the SAP date. I begin by advising everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. I want to also remind the defendants on this case that you have certain constitutional rights. The first being the right to counsel or an attorney at this proceeding. And most of you already know who your attorneys are, or you've hired a private attorney. Also want to remind the defendants you have a constitutional right to remain silent. Anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, or the occurrences of your case can and will be used against you. So govern yourselves accordingly and listen to your attorney. And who do we have first, deputies?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We have first position number 7, Ms. Danya Saeed.
Oh, Your Honor.
All right, this is case number 22 CR 006472J. Danya Saeed, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and a 2nd count of harassing communications, both with the offense date of August 23rd, 2021. Pretrial?
First arrest.
All right, and Ms. Tucker, ASG Tucker, haven't seen you for a while. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. Nice to see you, Judge.
Good.
The state is going to recommend a $1,000 good bond on the criminal trespass and a $1,500 good bond on the harassing communications for a total of $2,500 with conditions no further contact with Esteban Salvatierra. That's ESTEBAN SALVATIERRA. These facts allege that this defendant sent multiple harassing text messages over several days to this defendant and also ultimately ripped his Ring video doorbell off his wall, damaging it, as well as breaking a glass cup. While you did hear she has no history, I don't believe this defendant should receive a signature bond based on the fact that she sent all these text messages over multiple days with no response from the defendant, and it reached the point where he felt he needed to get police involvement. So based on the facts, we are asking for that $2,500 good bond with that no further contact provision.
All right.
My client is 27 years old. She has no criminal history whatsoever. She was gainfully employed up until the time that she was arrested. She does have some college education. She denies the allegations, Your Honor. In fact, she says that the complaining witness has been the one who has refused to keep away from her. They were formerly in a relationship. They are broken up now. She does not wish to have any contact with him. They do not live together. Based on that, Your Honor, on the fact that this alleged incident happened more than a month ago, I would ask the court to give my client a signature bond so that she can get out of jail. She does not want to have any contact with him, so that's not going to be an issue if there is a no contact provision in any order that the court issues. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I will grant a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial. That will be $1,000 on the criminal trespass, $1,500 on the harassing communications. I will order no further contact with the victim in this case, Esteban Sabatiera. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm going to order the one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. And that should be it. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor. Well, that does conclude my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Enjoy your Saturday.
Thank you, Judge. You too.
All right.
Come on, Dan. You're gonna sit in that chair right there. Janae? Your Honor, this is position number 2, Mr. Shanene.
I asked for I emailed Mr. Jordan prior to court. The client has requested an interpreter for Arabic. He does speak some English, but we were having issues. So I did make that request, and Mr. Jordan informed me that he believes that would be continued to Monday. So we'd be requesting that.
All right. And Ms. Bonstein, you're his private counsel?
No, Your Honor, I'm with the Public Defender's Office.
I apologize. I wasn't familiar with you. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think I've been in front of you.
Okay, nice to meet you.
You too.
All right. So, Mr. Jordan, were you able to work any magic with that? I'm sure you were not, probably.
No, Judge, we're gonna have to reset it till Monday.
All right. So this case will be reset to 9/26 to get an Arabic interpreter.
Thank you.
All right.
Your Honor, we have position number 3, Mr. Dennis Greer.
Okay. This is 22 CR 006468J. Dennis Greer, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence and a 2nd count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, both with the offense date of September 23rd, 2022. Pre-trial.
This is 8th arrest. Last was 2020, fleeing an officer window tint. Before that, 2015, forgery in the 3rd, 2 counts, identity theft, fraud, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. Those were dismissed. 2014, he got first offender for forgery in the 3rd. 2013, probation violation, shoplifting, came off a 2012 conviction. 2012 suspended license conviction. He has a couple of holds. 1 out of Jonesboro, failure to appear, and probation out of Covington. That's it.
All right. ASG, is it Jordan Reiser?
Yes, Judge. How are you this afternoon?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Judge. The state's recommendation in regards to bond on the count of simple battery family violence would be a $2,500 surety bond. As to the obstruction, the state's recommendation would also be a $2,500 surety bond, making it a total of $5,000, with the conditions no further contact with Tierra Miller, that's TIERRA Miller, and a stay away from 4408 Sonora Way in South Fulton, as well as no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. The facts as alleged, Judge, Ms. Miller, who is the girlfriend of the defendant, they do reside together, called 911. Officers responded to that incident location. Ms. Miller informed them that there was a verbal altercation that did turn physical when the defendant punched her in the face, and the Miss Miller's juvenile son did confirm this story to surety, but based on just the physical violence that a child did witness between the defendant and the victim. As well as you heard by his pretrial report, he does have a prior FTA and some violation of probations. So I do believe that there is a risk he would not appear, as well as safety concerns for the victim, Your Honor.
All right. ASG Bronstein.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Greer is 32 years old. He is from Atlanta, born and raised. Here he has his daughter, his mother, father, grandmother, almost his entire family. As far as his living situation, he did tell me that he could stay elsewhere if the court ordered no contact. And I just told him that he would need to make sure that his address is updated with the clerk's office. He is a high school graduate. He does do some landscaping work, but he really doesn't have much money. As far as this case goes, we are denying the facts as alleged. He said that there was a verbal argument over the phone, but that he did not hit her. As pretrial stated, he does have holds out of Newton and Clayton County. We would be asking the court to grant a signature bond to the holds.
All right. I'm going to order a $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the incident location. I think it's 44-8. Is it Sonora or Lenora Way? I'm not sure if there's an L or an S. Couldn't hear very well. In South Fulton. I'm going to order no further contact with Tierra Miller. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And that will conclude the ruling of the court.
Your Honor, what's the breakdown? Was that 25 and 25?
Yes, I'm sorry, 25-25, yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
You're good. I'm gonna talk to you. Next, we have position number 4, Mr. Michael Hill.
All right. This is case number 22 CR 006473G, Michael Hill. You're charged with 1 count of simple battery. The offense date is 9/23/2022. Pretrial.
27 total. You got an FTA one out of Cobb. Last arrest was 2021, shoplifting conviction. Most of his history is shoplifting and theft. He don't have any violence. 2020 FTA for shoplifting.
Right.
So yeah.
Thank you. ASG Riser.
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation as to bond to the count of simple battery would be a $5,000 surety bond, a stay away from 3050 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, which is the Family Dollar location, and to have no further contact with the victim, LaShawn Crumbly, that's LaShawn CRUMB as in boy, LEY. The facts as alleged, Your Honor, this defendant was at the Family Dollar location, went behind the counter where the victim, Ms. Crumbly, was the associate working. He grabbed her by the wrist and pulled her arms and would not let her go. This was confirmed not only on surveillance video, but I believe by another witness as well. Why we're asking for a $5,000 surety bond. In speaking with the victim, Ms. Crumbly, today, she has indicated that this defendant has been into this Family Dollar multiple times and that she is fearful of him and does not want any contact. He does have 26 cycles. I'm not seeing any for violence, but I am seeing at least 2 failure to appears and 7 violation of probations. So not only are we concerned for the safety of the victim, but also the defendant's ability to reappear in court. And his convictions that are usually, or they're for theft, disorderly conduct, and criminal trespass. Those are all recent as of 2018, 2019, and 2020, Your Honor.
All right.
And Your Honor, Mr. Hill is 38 years old. He was born and raised in Atlanta, has lived here his entire life. His whole family is in the area, sister, mother, brother, daughter. For work, he currently works for a temp agency, staff zone, doing construction work. He really does not have much money. As pretrial stated, he does not have any violent criminal history. We discussed this case. He told me that he had checked his bag, and when told to leave, he tried to get his bag back. And that's what had occurred. We are asking for a hold for a signature bond to the hold in Cobb County. I did see that in Odyssey, so that he'd be able to handle his Cobb County case. And as I stated, he told me that he really didn't have any money to take to pay for bond.
All right, I'm going to order a $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, LaShawn Crumbly. I'm going to order a stay away from 3050 MLK Junior Drive, which is the Family Dollar. If he gets out on bond, is not to return there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. All right, that should conclude this case.
Next, we have position number 8, Mr. Williams, Messiah Williams.
This is case number 22 CR 006471A. Messiah Williams, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence. The offense date is September 23rd, 2022. Pre-trial?
His second arrest. He's on parole for armed robbery, which he gets off 2025. Maybe it's regular robbery.
I think it was reduced to robbery.
Yeah, regular robbery. So came from a 2015 arrest. That's it.
Okay. All right. ASG Tucker?
Yes, Judge. The state would be asking for a $2,500 good bond in this case, with conditions no further contact with Monisha Williams. That's MONEASHA Williams, and to stay away from 6985 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs. These facts allege that a neighbor who eyewitnessed this incident called 911 when she saw the defendant slap the victim and chase her around the parking lot with a stick. Ultimately, there was a dispute over some damage to a television, which resulted in the victim feeling in fear enough she had to run out of the apartment, is running through the parking lot where the neighbor was able to see her. And ultimately, he was chasing her with a stick. Police also spoke with the sister of the victim, who confirmed that she saw this argument going on. And while fortunately there were no visible injuries from the slap, had a concerned citizen not intervened, not called 911 and gotten police out there, he could have caused some serious injuries with a stick that he was holding and chasing her around with. So we're concerned both with the safety of this victim as well as the likelihood of reoffense while out on bond. You did hear that he is on parole, and this is a violation of that parole. So for these reasons, we do not think he's a good candidate for a signature bond. We would be asking for that $2,500 good bond with those no further contact and stay away conditions.
All right. Warrenstein?
Thank you, Your Honor. I've spoken with Mr. Williams about the parole hold, and he'll be in contact with his parole officer about that. As far as biographical information for Mr. Williams, he is 23 years old. He's originally from New York, but he moved to Georgia as a child with his family and has lived here for several years. His whole family lives here: sister, grandmother, mother, nephews, stepfather. Just so the court's aware, if anything comes up about a stay away, this incident, so they do not live together, and this incident occurred at Mr. Williams' sister's house, not any residence that they both reside in. So we would be asking that there be no stay away ordered. I understand if there's a no contact ordered, but as far as the stay away, it is his sister's house, and that he informed me that they do not live together. He is a high school graduate. He graduated in 2021. He works as a custodian, and he also does some part-time handyman work. He is studying for his CDL. He really doesn't have much money, Your Honor. We would be asking for a $1,000 bond.
Okay. I'm going to order the $2,500 good bond. I'm going to order no further contact with Monisha Williams. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess since we don't have an address for stay away, they don't reside together, he's to have no further contact with her, then should be okay with staying away from any locations where she may be found. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next, Your Honor, we have Mr. Corrado Palmerini, position 5 and position 6.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Put your mask
Under these
on. Put
circumstances,
your mask on.
I'll do the speaking for you. Thank you.
First case, position 5 is 22 CR 006469Y. A charge of 1 count of simple battery, a 2nd count of public indecency, both with the offense date of September the 14th, 2022. Pre-trial, do you have anything?
Got the Georgia State. I don't have the New Jersey history. I got a 2019 failure to appear out of Cherokee that was not prosecuted. I don't have the New Jersey history.
All
That's
right,
it.
okay. ASG Riser?
Yes, Your Honor. In regards to the state's bond recommendation, as to the simple battery, we would request a $2,500 surety bond. As to count 2, that would be a $2,500 surety bond with the conditions: no contact with the victim, Preston Lamb, that's PRESTON, Lamb, LAMB. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. So that would be a total of a $5,000 surety, Your Honor. This incident occurred on September 14th, 2022 at 2870 Webb Bridge Road in Fulton County. Officers were dispatched to this location. They met with the victim, Preston Lamb, who informed police that his neighbor, the defendant, was outside screaming obscenities and using profane language. And Mr. Lamb walked outside to ask him to quiet down. And when Mr. Lamb did that, the defendant punched him in the face. He took out his private parts and then continued to scream profanities at Mr. Lamb. We think that a surety bond is reasonable in this instance, Your Honor, not only for the violence, the physical violence between the defendant and the victim, but we are concerned about the safety of this community and this complex, considering that a similar incident happened on September 22nd, which is position 6 of this calendar, Your Honor.
right. Ms. Bronstein?
Thank you. And Judge, did you want us to argue both at the same time or one at a time?
I'll do one at a time, then I'll go to the next one.
Okay. So Mr. Pomeraney is 58 years old. He is originally from the East Coast. However, he came to Georgia in 2017 and has lived here ever since. He does work flipping houses. However, his had issues with his business partner leaving, and he has not been able to work or do that for the past 4 months because his business partner had the money. So he currently has no money whatsoever. As far as education goes, he does have some college. And he did want me to inform the court that he does have pets he needs to get home to. He doesn't have anyone's phone number memorized, and he's very concerned about their safety. As far as this case goes, he informed me that the complaining witness had been bothering him for a long time and harassing him, and he denies the allegations 100%. He is asking for a signature bond based on that. He told me essentially that he's destitute.
All right. I will order on this case the $5,000 surety bond. That's $2,500 on each. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and it's no further contact from Preston Lamb, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. All right, I'll listen to the second case now, which is 22 CR 006470Y. Mr. Pomeraney, you're charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, 2nd count of public indecency, 3rd count of public drunk, all with the offense date of 9/22/2022.
Your Honor, the state's recommendation as to count 1 obstruction would be a $2,500 surety bond. As to count 2 public indecency, the state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond. As to count 3 public drunk, it would be a $1,000 surety bond. So a total of $5,000 surety bond. Your Honor, this incident happened just about a week or so after the first incident at the same location, 2870 Webb Bridge Road. Officers were called back out again for complaints that defendant was screaming in the parking lot, using obscene language, calling certain witnesses very derogatory names. He again pulled his pants down, exposed himself. Officers believe that this defendant was intoxicated during this time due to the odor of alcohol and slurred speech on his breath, or excuse me, alcohol in his breath and slurred speech. He did refuse verbal commands with the officers, began swinging his arms at the officers, and refused to be arrested. Judge, I would make the same argument as to why this should be a surety bond. The state is very concerned for the citizens in this community. It seems like this is a repeated event of the defendant acting violent towards people, screaming obscenities. And Your Honor, we think that the surety bond is more than reasonable in this instance.
And Your Honor, I'll just reiterate my argument that I made for position number 5 and let the court know that for this case as well, he is denying the allegations outright. And to reiterate to the court that he does have no money, and we are asking the court to take that into consideration.
And again, these occurred at the defendant's home. Is it a house or an apartment or a condo? What type of?
My understanding, Your Honor, is that this is, I believe it's an apartment complex. Because when Mr. Lamb was talking to the police, he had said that the defendant went back into his I think apartment and shut the door and locked the door. I do believe it is an apartment complex, and defense counsel, please correct me if I'm misstating.
The townhouses.
Okay.
Townhouses?
Mhm.
am concerned about the defendant's behavior with these cases. And I guess I wonder if he just has a drinking problem and needs to go to AA classes or do something so that we don't keep coming back down here, Ms. Bronstein, or what I need to do for him. If you stated that his job is flipping houses and he hasn't had any work in the last 4 months, I don't know if that's causing him to drink more, to be upset over that. Does he have any other income?
No, Your Honor, that's how he made his income, and his business partner has been away due to circumstances outside of Mr. Pomerani's control. Basically, he can't access the money.
I think what I'll do for this case, and we don't have his New Jersey history, we only have the one case out of Fulton, out of Cherokee County, rather.
Judge, let me look really quick at my notes on this. Let me see.
Okay.
Let's see.
Don't worry about it. I actually just ran it. He had a 2008 contempt of court for violation of domestic violence order.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing too, Mr. Howard.
2018, he had another one. Let's see. He was found guilty in 2008 for conspiracy contempt. He had a simple assault dismissed from 2008, and before that was 1988. So that's all.
Mhm.
May I say for my benefit, for myself?
No, I don't think it's anything. It's my understanding, I don't believe there's any felonies.
I'm getting hung and strung on.
No, Mr. Pomerani, please do not speak. The state is here and they will take anything you say and use it against you.
Check the district court, of United States District Court.
Mr. Pomerani, please. This is being recorded and the state will use anything you say against you.
Excellent.
All right, Mr. Pomerani. What I'm going to do is a split bond on the position 6 on the second case. And with that split bond on the obstruction, it'll be a $2,500 surety bond. And on the public indecency, that will be a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. And on the public drunk, a $1,000 signature bond through the jail.
Your Honor, I was inside my home drinking.
But
And I'm say so because someone said,
Mr. Pomerani, please stop talking.
I'm being hung and slung on say so.
This is not your trial. This is a bond hearing. Please let the judge continue.
All right, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And although you may have been at home, Mr. Pomerani, the neighbors are being obviously bothered by your conduct and coming outside. So
I'm not outside. This is a made up story when the cops came to the house.
Mr. Pomerani, please stop talking now. You are not helping yourself.
well, then if you continue, then I can increase your bonds and make them all surety bonds. But again, no drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons while on bond. And this is a split bond, 2,500 surety, 2,000 signature bond through the jail. I would order you to start to go to AA courses, but I hope that you will do that on your own and they'll take care of that later in your case. Maybe you'll get some help on your own.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, I believe you know that position number one, Mr. Barnes paid his purge,
Yes, I see that in the chat.
and that's all we have here in courtroom two.
Okay. Is that it, Mr. Jordan, for today?
That's it, Judge.
Nice short day.
Yes,
We deserve that sometimes.
yes, we do. Thumbs up, everybody.
All right, thumbs up.
All right.
All right, enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Okay, enjoy.
Yeah,
All right, take care. All right, bye-bye.
I,
Position one is reset further notice. Well, it looks like everybody left, so nobody wants to count.
Oh, that's right. We forgot to reconcile. I
Yeah,
think everybody was good. Well, I cannot believe Mr. Howard stayed with us.
I can leave.
He usually goes the first. Well, as you were still here, I think we're good, Mr. Jordan. No one had any questions.
Okay.
All right, I'll wait.
Everybody Monday.
All right, thank you.
All right, Judge. Have a good weekend.
You too.